Everyone, what's going on? Kyle here with Game Time with Kyle. What's going on? Episode 48, if anyone cares. We got a very special episode today. I got a little bit of a different style going on because I'm taking a look at Gamester81 the Game for the ColecoVision. This is a homebrew game that was released just recently, and for those of you who do not know what a homebrew game is, it's pretty simple. It's pretty much new modern games made within the past couple of years, recent games made for some of these classic older systems, such as the Atari is very common for homebrew games. Atari 2600, ColecoVision, and Television. NES has some good homebrew games. So we'll be taking a look at this. This is my actually very first homebrew game I ever purchased. And for those of you who haven't heard of Gamester81, first of all, while you're watching this crappy channel, go watch his channel on YouTube. It's much more better. Anything game related, very retro. He does a great job, and really is one of my favorite gaming related YouTube channels. So if you're a fan of Star Wars, which a lot of us are, Star Wars Nut 77, he does Gamester81 Arcade. He does Nostalgiaholic, which is a really great channel, just taking a look at a lot of items and nostalgia memorabilia from the 80s, 90s, and that's spelled N-E-S, Nostalgiaholic. So definitely check out that. It's one of the best channels on YouTube. And in fact, all his channels really are. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a look at Gamester81 the Game. We're going to play through the entire thing. It's brief. It won't take very long, but what's there is really good. So we'll be taking a look at the gameplay footage from all three of the stages, and then we'll come back here and wrap it up. And we'll do it next on Game Time. Alright, nice little voice intro there. That's something that never really hear on those classic ColecoVision games, so this almost might be a first as well. So yep, Gamester81 the Game. Let's take a look at, there's 4 difficulty levels, just for keeping this video pretty brief and so I don't get killed off and have to deal with the game over. I'm just going to do difficulty level 2 out of 4. Alright, here's the story. Monkey Madness is episode 4, sort of a good Star Wars thing there. Hopefully if he ever does another game like this, we'll see sort of a prequel trilogy, but please don't have it be as bad as the Star Wars prequels. So there you are, you're playing as a gamester, and this is the stage Monkey Madness. We can kind of go back and forth, jump, all the fun stuff. And once again, it is on difficulty number 2 out of 4, sort of a normal difficulty. The later difficulties are pretty challenging, especially the 4th one. It's quite pretty chaotic on the screen. But as I said, just to kind of keep everything pretty brief, and I can feel pretty confident in doing stage 2 live on everything, we'll do that. So like I said, we're kind of dodging the barrels, and DK Jr. appears every now and then to drop some coconuts on us, and we're kind of jumping over the gaps. Very DK-like, without it actually being Donkey Kong. So, one of my favorite aspects of the game. The object here, we just kind of have to survive here. There's a certain kind of distance we need to make, so... Oh, that one caught me on a weird angle. How big is that city in the background, too? Wow. Oh, sorry, John. Gamester81 was a channel I discovered probably about a year ago, very early 2013, and you know, I always was a bit of a gamer myself. I had a nice little collection, modest little collection of consoles and games. But I saw one of his videos that he did. It was sort of a game room tour, sort of taking a look at his game room, and it really was inspiring for someone like myself. I don't want to say maybe it's not inspired, but really motivated me to kind of go back and get a lot of those consoles that I missed back in the day, and some that really looked kind of fun, and really to expand my gaming collection. And definitely owe it all to Gamester81. Alright, obviously no hits or counts. If you have at least 5 remaining lives, you do get a bonus of 500 points. So we didn't do terribly well in here. Invader's Reign is the next stage. Actually, out of the 3, I really do like them, all 3 of them. I really do. This one, though, if I were to pick one just to have at all times, it probably would be this one. You can kind of have a full screen. I think there's a lot of freedom. And the object has got to get these blue chips while dodging and shooting a lot of the space invaders that are coming down the screen. Now on the later stages, there actually is a fire pit at the bottom, which if you touch, it's just game over right there. And later stages as well, there is sort of, excuse me, not stages, but later difficulties, there is gravity that pulls you down as well. So it really makes that the game a lot more frantic, especially in the later difficulties or harder difficulties. That and more invaders on the screen as well. So good replay value here. Obviously, the quicker you do it, the better as well. A lot of people would be, well, what if you just kind of played infinitely and just didn't collect any of the chips and just concentrate on shooting the invaders? And that works to some extent, but eventually there is a bit of a time limit. If they start flashing, you pretty much have just 1 minute left before they just all gang up on you and come at you, even not even in a pattern. They just full on attack and assault, and you're not going to survive too long that way. So it's best to just kind of mix it up a little bit. I don't necessarily have a great strategy yet, but whoop. But it would be almost kind of to collect as many of these chips as we can. You can kind of tell by your bar there at the bottom how far you are. Then once you get a little bit further into it, then maybe concentrate on getting some of the invaders for some points. But, yeah. Don't know where I was going with that. There we go. So we won 16 shots. They did hit 83 times and 4 remaining lives. Good score there. And here's episode 6, Ghost Zone, the last of 3 stages, based off, of course, I'll let you guess what game it's inspired by. Really a lot of fun. I guess in the earlier development, they didn't have the dots you get. You just kind of collected the cherries and went up and down. So here we got to collect cherries and dodge ghosts. Getting the dots is optional. It's not mandatory to progress. Just getting the cherries are. But it does give you a lot more points in the end. I'm always a little nervous when I go to these corners like that. That the ghosts you don't really see coming right away. So, if anything, I did notice one row, there's only one particular ghost or cherry on a row at a time. So if there's already ghosts like right down here, it's safe to maybe, oh, I'm glad that wasn't a ghost, it hit me right away. It's safe to kind of go and get some of those side pellets. Because it does look like there's only one ghost or cherry item per row, so kind of use that to your advantage. A little helpful trick from your pal Kyle. Definitely a frantic stage. I love it though. Anything Pac-Man related, I'm for. Harder difficulties, of course, go by pretty quick. And maybe on the, I forget right offhand if the Jedi difficulty does have more than one ghost per row at the same time. If they do, then you can kind of disregard my helpful hint. Ooh. Hand-eye coordination is key. Feel like a pro after playing some of the harder difficulties. And there we go. So let's take a look at look at those pellets. That really does help your score out quite a bit. The Force is with you, but we're not quite a Jedi yet. We need to continue on harder difficulties, so I think that adds a lot of replay value. So, yeah, Gamester81 the Game, available on Atari2600.com right now, as well as, I think that might be the only place to get it, unless you did subscribe to the Indiegogo campaign for the funding for this game. So, yeah, I love it. I think it's a great game. So let's take a look at some final thoughts, and thanks everybody for tuning into this gameplay. Alright, so there we have it. There's Gamester81, the game for the ColecoVision, the mighty ColecoVision. Just a great system overall. So final thoughts on what we think of the game. Like I said, it's pretty brief, it's pretty short. There's only three main stages. But I think the thing I love best about this game is the level design for those stages. Donkey Kong, you know, Space Invaders, Pac-Man, they feel like those classic arcade games without actually being those classic arcade games. They have the look and feel without actually being, you know, just blatant rip-off of those stages. So that's awesome. Thumbs up for you know, some of those game designers that worked on this. I know it was a small group, so that I think is the absolute best part. I just love how it looks and feels like the originals without being like that. It's like I said, it's brief, but I think there's some good replay value there, definitely, because it does kind of save your high scores. Well, the game itself doesn't save a high score, but you know, that's something. Oh, I got this amount of score. You can write it down. So I think there's going to be a lot of good competition. You know, bring your friends over. You can all kind of try it. It really has that classic arcade feel. Some good bonuses and Easter eggs in there, as well as definitely when you get to the harder difficulty, there's going to be a lot of trying to master it and trying to get the highest score possible there. So it's going to provide a lot of good replay value, I believe, on that. I can't wait to kind of go back and go to the Jedi Master mode and just have a lot of fun with it that way. So that's gonna throw in a lot of extra value. And also remember, a lot of the games back in the day, you know, they didn't have a lot of huge amount of content like today's modern games go. So overall, this is a game that I'm very proud to have in my collection, Gamester81, and definitely from one of my favorite people on YouTube. So John's a great guy. And again, where I got this is Atari2600.com. I'll leave a link in the description where you can go pick up your own copy, as well as just the overall game page website for Gamester81. I think it's an absolute great community for retro gamers, modern gamers, all ages. It's all there, and it's all just really well done. So links in those descriptions and everything. So that will do it. Thanks everybody for watching. Kyle signing off, and we'll see you next time with another awesome video just like this. Take care, everybody.